So in today's video, we're going to be talking about Thinkcenters. This here is a Thinkcentre S51, and this is actually my favorite desktop computer ever made, is the Thinkcentre S51. This is an IBM Thinkcentre. I do believe it was made after Lenovo purchased IBM, but this one was actually manufactured by IBM. On the bottom, I'll show you. If it'll focus. I don't know why this thing... Okay. You can see it does bear the Lenovo name on the bottom, but you can't see it because it's messed up, but it does say manufactured for IBM. It's a model 8171, or that's the machine type. It's model 3FU. 8171 is a M71. What is this thing? It's an S51. My favorite desktop computer. On the back here, we have an assortment of ports, and this one actually has a key, or two keys. You can see it's an IBM key, and you can open and close, or lock and unlock the machine. Of course, that doesn't have much effect nowadays. Anyway, this is an IBM Thinkcentre. Okay, so this one, to open, you press this and this, and I'll try to do this with one hand. Okay, not that hard. The top opens up. Okay. Now, if I wanted to remove the drives, all I'd have to do is flip this guy down, slide this to unlock, and push it forward. There you go. The drive's removed. Don't ask me why I'm running a SATA CD drive and an IDE hard drive, please. I have my reasons. Okay. I'm not sure how you just press this and slide it back, right? Or, I don't know. I'm not sure how you'd remove the floppy drive, but you just slide that. Okay. Let's say I wanted to access under here, the hard drive, all of that. You pull up. Voila. There's your hard drive. Here's your CPU fans, and you have two of them. If one of these, when they're normally operating, they both run slowly so that it's quiet. If one of them fails, it will actually speed up the other one so that it will not overheat. If both of them fail, well, then it overheats, but what are you going to do? And what are the chances that both of these fans are going to fail? It has two RAM slots. I wish it were 4, but it has 2. If you want to add a card, you pull that out, and here it is. CMOS batteries right there, and you can actually remove the whole motherboard just by pulling that tab. I believe there's another tab you got to pull, but you pull some tabs, and the whole motherboard slides out on a tray. I've done it before. If you want to upgrade your CPU, no problem. You push this here, you pull this up, and you pull it out. And I know I need to get some thermal paste on here. Look at that. That's how hot a Pentium 4 gets. I've actually ordered some thermal paste, and it's coming in the mail. Should be here this week. And that reveals our processor. And our processor is a 3.2 gigahertz Intel Pentium 4. And I'm imagining that sticker is an IBM thing or something. I don't really like these 775 sockets as much as the old 478 ones. They seem a lot easier to bend the pins on your CPU or on your motherboard. It always feels like you're gonna break it. Anyway. Let me just put this guy back on. So, this is what the original Thinkcentre looks like. Because the original, well, there wasn't one Thinkcentre. The original lines of Thinkcentres, I think the first Thinkcentre line was the 50. That would be the S50. I don't know if there was an M50. I think there was, and there was an A50. And the S50 was just like this one. So this is the same design as the original IBM Thinkcentre. Besides, for one thing, it's just a cooling vent in the front. Instead of having these little holes like this, it had some slats. that went this way. I actually prefer this design, and I much prefer the S51. I use these all the time in school. These are great machines. These things, if you keep the dust out of them, these will run forever. This thing also weighs a lot. I can't lift it with one hand. I mean, I can, but not right there, not sitting down like I am right now. I don't know an exact number. I might put it in the description. I might not. I don't know if I get around to it. But anyway, this is definitely a real Thinkcentre. It also has a floppy drive, so it's a real computer. This is a real Thinkcentre. Okay, so this is after Lenovo bought them. This is a Lenovo Thinkcentre A57. This one has an Intel, hell, I don't know. It's a 7300, I think. It's a Core 2 Duo I put in here. I ordered a front panel for it. It came off. So I ordered one. Anyway, this has the same case design. It's actually bigger. And in the back, as you can see, it still has a full array. It has a plethora of ports. To open it, you simply do the same. You flip up the top. There it is. Now this one, unfortunately, is missing the hard drive caddy, but it would actually just go right in there. You'd pull a lever, and it would lift up this way. So I've just got a laptop drive sitting in there. I could probably do better than that, but it works. One thing that they have downgraded on this machine is that you can't put full-size cards in it. You have to have the small form factor cards. And it also doesn't just pull out like the one did before. To remove this optical drive, I believe you have to remove the whole front panel, like so. Never actually removed the front panel on this machine, not yet. Alright, you gotta remove the whole front panel, like that. And I'm sure there's a button. Yeah, you gotta push this button in, right here. I'm not gonna do it, because I don't want to mess anything up. So that's how you remove the optical drive, so it's still toolless. You flip this up. This one only has one fan. I'd also like to mention this one doesn't have as good of a built-in speaker as the other one. You can still access the CPU by simply pushing this guy, pulling it up, and there's your CPU, which is an Intel Core 2 Duo E7300. This one has 4 RAM slots, which I do like, as you can see. No, it doesn't. Okay. They're actually just 2 spaced apart from each other. I could have sworn this thing had 4. Well, I've had a bunch of these. This model here. This is an A57. I've had a bunch of this model. And I believe some of the ones that I had might have actually had 4 RAM slots. This is the one that I kept, and it ended up not having 4 RAM slots. This one also weighs a lot less, and I can easily pick it up with one hand. Here's the bottom. Focus, please. There you go. So, is this a real Thinkcentre? I will say yes. It's one of the last ones. The M58 is also a real Thinkcentre. But it's getting right towards the end. Lenovo had changed some of IBM's design and made it so you can't use quite as standard parts and can't service it quite as easily or tool-free. And they have cheapened up the case design and actually cheapened up everything a little bit. But they haven't done so bad. These are still good machines. And this is still a real Thinkcentre. So, now we're on to the more modern one here. This is the case style they used up until recently. They might still be using it, I don't know. In fact, I know they don't. We'll talk about the new ones in a minute. This one here, this is a Thinkcentre M70E. This one's running a Core 2 Duo E8400. Now, this one I don't really like as much, because this way, if it's sitting this way, It's got feet on this side and this side. If it's sitting this way, you've got your DVD drive proper, and the USB ports, the logo is right, but the headphone and microphone, they aren't. So you flip it this way, your Thinkcentre logo is right, but this is sideways, and those are upside down, and then those are right side up, as well as the power on this guy. Unlike the older Dells, where you could actually rotate this. This guy actually weighs the least of all of them. This is actually incredibly light. I mean, I'm not making it look like it with the angle I'm sitting at, but it really is incredibly light. This whole front, I can move, and it feels, hear that? It's hollow. And the old one's solid. On this side, it says Lenovo. You got this thing. On the back, once again, a full range of ports. This one actually does have one advantage, which is 4 slots, although I don't know if all those are populated on the inside. This one does not have PS2 ports or a floppy drive, so its chances at being a real computer are greatly limited. So, let me just open this case up. So you actually have to use a screwdriver to open the case up. It doesn't simply open up as the old ones did. The case pops off, and this is a pain to get back on. Okay, so here's what it looks like. As you can see, it's kind of crimped. I don't know how they managed to cramp everything in here, because this is larger than both of the other two. But it's somehow cramped and less user-friendly. You can get to your cards, okay, and it does have all 4 of those. You can get to your cards, okay. You can't get to the RAM. Well, the cards are about the only thing you can get to. You can't get to the RAM. If you really squeeze your hand in here, you can get to the CMOS battery and maybe even the RAM, the first card. But that's about it. Okay. Now, did I break it? No. Now, to get the CPU out, you actually have to remove 2 screws here. And I'm just going to remove these 2 screws. I'm not going to get to the CPU. But you got to remove these guys. Then pull this shroud out. We actually got to slide this back and then pull the shroud out. And then you can unscrew these 4 and get to the CPU. So that's standard for most computers, but for a Thinkcentre, it's not as user-friendly as or accessible as they used to be. Now you got to pull the front panel off to get underneath here. You got to pull this guy completely off and just let it dangle by the wires. Then you can flip this guy up, and here you can get to your RAM, which is DDR3, your CMOS battery, and the drive, which you have to unscrew this drive, as well as the hard drive, which you have to unscrew. So, and once again, one fan here, although it does have a separate CPU fan, so I believe if this one quit working, this shroud's here, so I believe the unit would probably continue working without overheating. The speaker in this also sucks. I mean, really, you can hardly hear anything. Okay, so however you want to sit this, I'll sit it like this so I can get it in the frame better. Is this a real Thinkcentre? Well, it has the Thinkcentre name on it. That's about the only thing that's about the same. No, this is not a real Thinkcentre. This is not. Lenovo has cheapened the design up so much, made these things so lightweight, which is not a good thing. If it's a laptop, sure, but if it's a desktop, don't make it lightweight. It sits in one spot. These things have been cheapened up to the point where they're not accessible. Like, you have to use, and I know it's not that hard to unscrew some screws, pop the front cover off to change the RAM, but if you have 100 of these, which normally if you're buying Thinkcentres, they're going to be used in an enterprise setting, tell me which is easier. Alright? Let's say we had to change, or we had to upgrade all 250 of our machines. We had to upgrade the RAM. So right now they have, let's just say, 2 2 gig sticks and we're going to upgrade them to 2 4-gig sticks, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Let's say we're going to change the RAM, which is going to be easier. Unscrewing the top of the case, pulling it off, pulling off the front cover, pulling this up, and then changing the RAM, or pulling this up, and there's your RAM. Definitely this one. I'm not sure the timing of that one. But let me set this down. Alright. Now, I'm going to change the RAM. If I have 200 of these, let's say, start counting now. Alright. Alright, that quickly. I just pulled out both of the RAM sticks and put them back in. So, I'm closing the machine back up. There we go. And that actually took a little bit more time because I was fiddling with the drive cable. But how long did that take me? Not very long. Anyway, this one is smaller. It looks better. I love the look of this machine. It's built better. It's going to last longer. It's easier to work on. So, no, this is not a real Thinkcentre. Lenovo has changed the design too much from IBM's original design. And I find it comical because there were avid ThinkPad people and, to a lesser extent, Thinkcentre people. Oh, also, hear that? That ain't hollow. That's hollow. It's more of a feel than a sound, but you can kind of hear it. Anyway, Lenovo said, oh, well, we're not going to change the design. We're going to continue manufacturing them to the same quality and to the same standard that IBM did. And for about maybe 4 years, they did to an extent, although they did kind of cheapen them up. My question is, what the hell happened to that? Let's look at some of the new ones. Okay, so we're here at Lenovo's website. And I'm just going to look and see. I don't have a new Thinkcentre. I'm not even sure what they look like anymore. But from what I have seen, they're pretty crappy. I have seen some of them. You can hear the fan speeding up in here, and the reasoning for that is I really need to get some of that thermal paste. And I ordered it. It should be here. Okay. M70S. Now, why are they M70? I have an M73. Have we gone back in time? Alright, let's look at this one. Okay. So, from what I can see here, it looks stupid. Alright? Thinkcentres are supposed to be business and machines. This thing means business. That looks like something you'd get. I don't know. It does not look like a business machine. Look at that little Lenovo logo. Anyway, what I'm seeing, first thing I'm seeing here, is it looks like this is just for design only. Why are we not focusing? This is for design only. This here is the only ventilation it has. Alright, let's look at the back of it. Alright, yeah. I don't understand the trend with these monitors with no bezel around them. I've had issues with those LCD panels. They delaminate, and you get bubbles in them. Anyway, another thing. It also has a laptop disk drive. Okay. Yep, laptop disk drive. It does have 4 USBs. Nice. Alright. Look at this thing. On the back, you have hardly any ports. You get 4 USBs and an Ethernet. I don't even know what those other 3 are. Are they 3 HDMIs? Or is that a display port and 2 HDMIs? Either way, how are you supposed to connect a monitor to it? With HDMI? I don't know, but, wait a minute. Okay, there's serial. I think that's serial. And there's one little small audio connector at the top. None of those are color-coded. My God, this is worse than I thought, people. Look how cheap this thing looks. That's crazy. Okay. Yeah. Right. They don't even show the inside anymore. Used to, they'd show the inside of them. Alright, now, get me out of here. I wanna close the pictures. How do I close the pictures? I wanna read what it says. Just let me out of here, please. Exit. Okay, well, I'll just scroll down. 8.2 liter small form factor. Liter? I don't know. Fast memory. Yeah. Okay, so starting at $425. So I guess that is cheaper than this would have been when it was new. Somebody give me a price point. This is the Thinkcentre crap, what is it? S51. It's got the Pentium 4. Well, I don't know. I think it's a 3.2. Now you got me interested. There's a Pentium 4 3.2. Alright, let's look at what else they got. Okay, you can get the M70C. That was the M70S. You can get an M70C. Okay. This one's got, at least it looks like, it's got the ventilation holes. I find it interesting. For a while, like these ones, Lenovo took the Lenovo logo off the Thinkcentre. It's like, used to, it was an IBM Thinkcentre, and then it was a Lenovo Thinkcentre, but then it just turned into a Thinkcentre. Almost like they were trying to break it off into its own brand. Like, as opposed to a Lenovo Thinkcentre, it's a Thinkcentre, which is a product of Lenovo, kind of like Lexus. It's not a Toyota Lexus, it's a Lexus, which is a product of Toyota. Seems like what they were trying to do. I really don't know. Anyway, it looks like they got the Thinkcentre logo back on them now. Laptop drive, I don't know what that is. There's nothing there. You get microphone, headphone, 2 USB ports. So, about the same amount of stuff you have on this one. I would expect more ports, but no, because this thing is from 2005. This one has a regular disk drive that will last, and this one even has a floppy drive. You don't get those anymore. So, it can only run Windows 10, of course, so it's trash to me anyway. They're not going to have a picture of just the back of it. I don't know, what how much does this help you? But if we look at the back of it, this one has what appears to be, please focus. This one focus! There we go. This one has a better selection of ports, but not too much. It's got what appears to be a cheap little power supply. I mean, cheap looking, like what you'd see in a new HP. I don't know what that is. It almost looks like a parallel port or something. You got, oh, you know what this is? Are they still using those? That's one of those, I think it's a DMS 59, is that what it's called? Yes, it is. Are they still using those? Anyway, it's got a DMS 59 port on it. It's got 4 USBs, Ethernet, serial, and a VGA. And up here is your audio. I don't know why they even... Yeah, shut up. I don't know why they even use serial anymore. Once again, this one starts at $377, so it is a bit cheaper. I would hope so, because it looks a lot cheaper. I don't want a laptop driving my desktop. I'm sorry. Alright. M90T. And then finally we got the even more expensive one. Of course they have these thin clients. Those are different. Those are different. But one thing that I'm starting to see a lot of is these Thinkcentre all-in-ones. I don't like all-in-ones. Okay, so here's this. My God. Okay. This thing doesn't know what it wants to do. Because it's a full-size tower, but all the logos are facing this way. See, it drives me nuts. Like this one, IBM Thinkcentre, this one is meant to be sat this way. If the logos are the other way around, like that one, it's meant to be sat that way. Yeah, you value my opinion. Where would you provide some quick feedback? No, I don't want to provide feedback. You don't listen to me. Okay. This is a full-size tower, so that's how it's supposed to sit. But the logos are sideways. That drives me up the wall. It does appear that it has some good ventilation in here, because I can kind of see through this one. The other one you couldn't. I don't know what's going on there. This one has 4 USBs. It's got a micro USB, or is that a USB-C? I don't know about these new ports. I don't know about these new ports. These whatever, not Newport the cigarette, but new ports that they put on computers and stuff. Once again, laptop disk drive. I'm not such a big fan of that. And the base version of this costs $539. It seems like they could put in a regular full-size disk drive. Alright, once again, front view. Okay, so here's the back. What the hell? So the back of this one, the power supply, is just a plate. I bet you it's got some sort of, it's just like, that's probably, that looks photoshopped as hell. Hold on, get that to focus. Does that not look photoshopped? Someone go to the Lenovo website, look at this, and tell me that doesn't look photoshopped there. Okay, so we got a photoshopped power supply with nothing here. I bet you it either runs off an AC adapter, or that is just an AC adapter that's built into it. You've got a random fan up here, some expansion cards, and once again, our very limited ports. I'm not going to go over them. You can see what they are. No, but you can get it with this really wide curved monitor for whatever reason you'd want that. Oh, so these are even going to cost more than you think they are. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, that's the new Thinkcentres. That's my opinion on them. But it's not really an opinion, it's fact. I mean, they've definitely cheapened up. This thing, you think that cheap thing with no power supply vent's going to be running after this many years? No. Anyway, I think I've talked enough in this video. But, yeah, that was just showing you how and when about Lenovo killed the Thinkcentre. Maybe we'll do the ThinkPad later. Unfortunately, I don't have any IBM ThinkPads. I only have one ThinkPad, and it's a Lenovo, and it has a bad motherboard. So if I get some ThinkPads, we might go over those. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm going to make this exactly 29 minutes, so you can sit here and watch for another 30 seconds.